Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Producer's Journal, a podcast producer's journey. My name is Derrick, and thanks for joining me again today. I've been having a lot of fun with this podcast, and tons of stuff to cover today. It has been a busy week, and I'm looking forward to running through this stuff with you. So let's get started here. All right, now, Wendy Johnson. This is a name that has been brought up several times now, and a prime example as to why I love this podcast. So anyone that's listening that just was trying to follow along my storyline in real time, Wendy Johnson is probably, who's to say the strongest connection, but a very powerful connection that I have made through BNI. Quick recap, she owns a little marketing advertising agency working with good-sized clients that want to get on radio, TV, YouTube ads, Facebook ads, all the above, some graphic designing, sort of like a one-stop shop. You can go there and they just help push you out. Of course, her and I met. She came to the studio. I was able to pitch to her all the different things I got going on, leaning heavy on getting advertisers on The Real Hernando and the Rhythm Section podcast. So it ended well with some ideas flying around, and then I followed up with her a week later, set up a new meeting this week. So now here we are this week. This time I went to her. She actually owns a jewelry store called Links by Lena. That's why she's in BNI. That's the business that she's trying to push out there, where the advertising marketing deals on the side. So I go to her store. It's a beautiful jewelry store. She's hand-making jewelry right there as you walk in. It's called Permanent Jewelry. Not too versed on all that stuff, but this time I paid the favor to go to her. She's in Byhalia, so it's a good 30-minute drive from here, from where I live. So we're catching up, and then we finally start talking some business. The first thing I do is I went in there with an idea to cut a barter deal. And the trade would be I would make her a mid-level advertiser on The Real Hernando. On the pitch deck, it would say platinum. The top is diamond. So a platinum advertiser, which gives her a 30-second commercial that goes in the middle of the interview, both audio and video, which I already have one, 5M Services, a heat and air business that I met in BNI. So then they would alternate one episode, 5M and Links by Lena, next episode swapped around. And she would get all the other benefits that you would get. Logos on the website, mentioned and tagged in all of our posts. And then every month we put out a full post with a graphic that has all of our sponsors' logos forward facing, and big thank you. In trade for help, parts of her service, not jewelry, no, trading for help and what she offers. The value is $333 a month. So for the sake of just saying it easier, $350. All right, $350 a month. And she loved the idea, and we're going to move forward with that. I made it clear, look, I'm not looking for favors. I know for a fact she doesn't have a tier as low as $350 a month. I think the smallest little package she has is $500 a month. So down with that. And then she jumps right into the idea that she had. And this goes back to a conversation we had in my studio and about the Rhythm Section podcast and finding a new title sponsor for that. And she mentioned this new venue in South Haven, Mississippi, just another city in my county, called the Lucky Dog. And I haven't been there yet, but it's, a nice bar with a stage, with live music. And it's in this new area of South Haven, Mississippi that is up and coming, and it's becoming like the hip, young area. So she brings this back up and came up with a great idea to pitch to them to be the title, but then also put the show on one of their screens in the location, of course, with their big logo on it, showing that, hey, we support this podcast, therefore we support the Memphis music community, and just loop the interviews. How we will make that happen, if it goes down, I don't know yet. I'm not worried about the technicalities right now, but that's the idea. And then in the actual episode, me and my co-host Jeff do an intro, and that's when we read live reads of ads. We have band sponsors, so we announce their show dates in the area. So, of course, we would do their ad, much like we did for Ben Cooey and Hempville CBD. It's right there at the beginning, right in the open. We'd read a good ad for them. So we would do the same for Lucky Dog there, but also throw a graphic on the screen with some upcoming events for them and really give them as much visibility and promotion as possible. So on paper, that's great. Theory, awesome. Idea, amazing. But here is where Wendy has quite honestly become an answered prayer. She is not looking to coach me and aim me in the right direction. No, she's ready to get hands-on. And I was already starting to write a list of things that she would like to do. Then she asks me, do you have a presentation? No, I don't. I have a nice price deck, which acts as a mini presentation, but not a full-on presentation. She's like, okay. She writes it down. And then I ask, is this something that you can help me build and make? She's like, absolutely. That's what I'm going to do. And everything changed at that moment. It was like you could hear the chimes, the angel chimes, jingling around me, because finally I found someone that will help me hands on. Not like a salesperson, but someone that comes up with these ideas, will create the tools I need, and then she's going to find her way to get in contact with the right person over there to sit down with and have this conversation. Boy, I've been wanting that and needing that for so long. Knowing that it's a difficult position to fill, or finding the right person to collaborate in this way, because several times I've put it out there on Facebook, hiring salesperson, sales and marketing, commission only. And then I'd get some interest, but then they're like, well, I don't know how podcasting works. So how are they going to sell and help me bring in clients if they don't even know what it is? And this isn't really a medium or an industry where you just cold call people. Hey, would you like to start a podcast? It was tricky. I needed someone like Wendy that would kind of partner with me. We're already referral partners. If I land a client that needs what she offers, I send them to her, vice versa. But now to partner with me, and we work together as a team, as two businesses side by side with like a rev split or a commission, whatever you want to call it. So if I land this title sponsor deal with the Lucky Dog and everything happens like we want it to happen, of course I'm going to pay her a percentage. She's already got the trade to kind of give her a base. So I know it's barter, but you got to look at it as a monthly base of $350, which is nothing. But she's getting some value for that as a way for me to just give her something so she can help me. But then when it comes to the outreach and actually making these connections and making this happen for us, and I come in and with these presentations, and I'm right there with these meetings, and I can really show what the hell I do and what it all is. I think, man, I think I found the person. I sent her the rhythm section, color codes and fonts, and she's going to start working on a thing. I'm certainly not going to push and give her deadlines. That's not how this is going to work. She's going to help me with that. Okay. If I don't hear from her in the next week, I'll follow up with her. Basically, I'll follow up. I'll make it so I follow up with her, I don't know, 7 to 10 days after our last meeting. And then Byhalia came up because and it's hard for me to remember what I talk about on this show. Sorry if I repeat myself, but I wanted to at one point start the Real Hernando for Byhalia. Call it the Real Byhalia. Not sure if that's the name, but I started it. It was called One Light Headlight, and quickly had to back out because there was no money. Obviously, I knew I had to build up, so then I had something to show, and hopefully, find a business that wants to do it. I joined the chamber, tried to really infiltrate myself in the community. I made my presence known, but at the end of the day, I didn't know anyone. I had no connections. And it was I just saw it as an uphill battle to find someone to support it financially, and had so much more work to do in Hernando. So I backed out of it. Well, now, because of Wendy and living in Byhalia, having a business in Byhalia, she knows everybody. So the conversation of doing a podcast for Byhalia is finally ramping back up. And we talked about that in depth at this last meeting. And the point where we're at right now is we found a place to record. So that's key. And it's her store. And I was just like, look, Wendy, we can record the interviews right in here. And then the background is your big logo that you have on the wall. A sponsor in kind. So you get some spotlight and you get some visibility, and, taped live at Links by Lena, taped live to tape at Links by Lena. Bam. So she doesn't have to pay for that because we're using her studio. So that was a no-brainer. And then she just started talking about the different people that we should talk to, like the mayor, some aldermen, some business owners. And then that's when I realized, okay, this doesn't have to be exactly like the Real Hernando. The Real Hernando started at spotlighting businesses, but then I shifted from businesses because I created a different platform for them. And then the Real Hernando for the last year has been nothing but organizations, ministries, leaders. Well, the Byhalia show can be a mixture of everything. I've always tried to stay away from politics with the Real Hernando. I just had the mayor on there, but that was just to update our community on the new developments. It wasn't him getting on a stump in any way. But the Byhalia podcast can. All right, anything Byhalia. The mayor wants to come on and talk and updating the community, but also maybe get on the stump a little bit. Fine. Aldermen come in, any kind of organizations, community leaders, and then businesses. It can be just a mixture of things. Anything Byhalia, because it's small. So if you're only looking to do for nonprofits and Byhalia, you're going to run out of them real quick. So then we decided, yeah, it can be that way. The next thing I mentioned was, hey, Wendy, you could even host some of these. I'm here to be your engineer, audio, video, of course, all the background production, post-production. But it'd be cool if you did it too. So you're giving yourself some spotlight. Of course, she liked that idea. After the meeting, and I would say the next day, I realized that the next time I talk to her, I'm going to pitch to her that she is the host because she knows Byhalia. way better than me. And if she has the mayor on, she knows what she wants to learn from him. She has real questions about her community. So she's asking her mayor. I have that luxury for the Real Hernando. It's my community, and I talk to the people in and around my community. So this starts pushing towards my dream, and that is owning a podcast that brings in sponsorship where I can then hire a host. That's beautiful. That's how I want to build my network. And you see them out there, all these like stand-up comedian podcasts, they all tend to belong to a network agency. And that way they're fed advertising. They don't have to worry about that. They don't own the show, which is a bummer, which is kind of what the reason why I want to stay away from joining an agency is because I want to be that agency. So therefore I own, right? And then, so that way the host is getting paid, right? So I want to do that. I want to create platforms for different communities, whether it's regional or just groups. And hey, dog lover, you want a podcast? I can pay you this much. But of course we need sponsorships on that. So that's the next, that's where, the meeting kind of hits a wall. And, but her and I are both confident, and I'm very confident and passionate about this podcasting stuff. And she can tell and hear it and feel it and see it. And I told her straight up, I'm like, Wendy, if we do this right, it won't be long before advertisers are coming to us. Not only coming to us like they would go to radio, but we'll build enough relationships with enough advertisers and all the right people that we can then go to someone and say, hey, we want to start a podcast for the animal community or the dog community, whatever. I'm just using that as an example. And we need a title for it on the front end, a business that's looking, sees the big picture and wants to support this and jump in now before it exists and start paying before it exists. So therefore it gives us seed money to start it and then continue it. I have full faith that that day will come. And then when that day comes and we start really building these kinds of relationships, my dream will start really becoming true. The real vision is going to become reality. So it was a great week, great meeting with Wendy. And, I'm trying not to get my hopes up because it's constant excitement let down. And just like the music business, just when you think you have found a new venue that will put you in their standard rotation as a band or as a solo musician getting gigs with bands and thinking, ooh, I think I finally found a gig that's going to give me some good work, steady volume of work. And then it doesn't work out for 5 million different reasons. And it's constant, like, just let up, let down, and getting your hopes up and then getting them crushed, deflated. So I'm trying not to get too excited, but I do have a different feeling about this because Wendy is on top of it too and very interested and out of the box thinker, gut drive. And I think she sees that we could have success because ultimately it's going to bring success to her as well. So good stuff there. I'll keep you updated on Wendy. And we're at 20 minutes. I think I talked about the most important thing of this week. I try to do 2 of these a week. So I'm always Monday and Friday. That's how I like breaking it up. So the Friday one, it's easy. I can say what happened this week. And then Monday, recap the weekend, which I will have something to talk about on the Monday episode because the day before on Sunday, me and my co-host Jeff for the Rhythm Section podcast, we'll be filming our first interview. So I'll be talking about that. But the other stuff, all the good stuff I had on this list that I want to talk about will be put on the next episode. So thank you for hanging out. srpstudiosllc.com. Please visit my website. Find all my channels. You can follow me on Facebook at Shelby Road Productions and Instagram at SRP Studios. And follow along. Love to hear from you. I post these episodes on Facebook and YouTube and, of course, Apple and Spotify, but you can comment on my episodes on YouTube or Facebook. Love to hear from you. The good, bad, and the ugly. If you want to troll me, I would love that attention. It's at least something. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you next time.